So after that, after you put the bearing in, just slide it in. Be careful, the whole tube might come out on the other side. Just slide it in, and while pushing on the other side here, you see that washer fell right off. Make sure this plastic piece fits into the groove, and then just push it in, just like that. All you have to do now is to reinstall everything. Just put the washer back in and install the C-clip. Get a pair of pliers and just push the clip back in, just like that. Now, before I put everything together, I like to use this time to put some grease in my reels. So I'll put some grease on the gears right here. Just coat them with grease. You don't have to coat them with too much. Take the pawl, put it back in. And then make sure that it sits flush, just like this. Make sure it's not popping out. Make sure this is not moving side to side, so that means it's actually working. You can test it by going like this. It's going to move. And then just take this, the cap that you originally removed, put it back on, and then tighten it. When I see what I mean by wiping your hands, you can see that grease would get on the reel. And unfortunately, hot sauce is red. There's nothing much I can do about it. Next thing you're going to do is take this part and put it back in. You're going to notice that there's a squared groove right here, and there's a square at the bottom. So we're going to make sure that it fits over it. This one came off, so we just put that aside. Make sure that's not moving much. This, just put it back in. It's going to fit right between this part and the shaft, and it sits flush. Okay? Next thing we're going to do is that we're going to be putting the main gear back in with everything right here. Just like that. And then take your pinion gear assembly, slide it back on. Okay? Again, just like that, very simple. Because the clutch is engaged, I'm just going to push it back down. So this part will fall right down. If there's no grease on the gears, take this time to coat the gears with grease. You have two springs. Slide them back on. Just like this. Make sure that the washer is still here. Take the collar. Slide it back on. You're going to see that there's this part here. This one is used to adjust the spool tension. This is going to go in the center, in the hole inside the pinion gear. So just slide this on. Make sure it aligns. Make sure everything is aligned. Slide it back on. You're almost done. Make sure the bearing doesn't come out. If it does, push it back in. Take your Phillips screwdriver. Now here's a word of advice. Normally reels are made of metal. This one is made by Zion. It's like a composite material. In other words, it's something like plastic. That's why they use different screws with a different pitch. Now, to prevent from stripping the holes, I would strongly suggest you to go counterclockwise first with some pressure down, and then you're going to feel that the screw would drop into the groove. As soon as it drops in, you can start tightening it, so it's going to go right into the grooves that originally was there. So I'll show you again. Put some pressure on it. Now you hear that, and you see the screw just popped in a little bit. That means it's falling back to its original threads. Just tighten it. Do the same for all three. Just like that. Now, next thing we're going to do, we're just going to redo the whole handle assembly. Put this on, just like that. And then we're going to reinstall the drag star. This part actually just goes over just like this. So just turn the drag star. Just push this back in. Eventually the whole thing is going to turn, so you just have to hold it and then just turn it. Okay. Now that one's done.